And to the rest of what's been happening on the local market now. And earlier I spoke to Padley from Patersons Securities. Well, Padley, not much movement in the overall market, but presumably investors have been poring over the latest Reserve Bank minutes.
Yes, and there is actually quite, I thought it was going to be boring, but it was quite interesting, really. They took away some of the rhetoric they had last time, like the decision on raising rates is finally balanced. They took that away. They also took away the idea that further tightening would be necessary at some point. And the whole thing seems to suggest that they've sort of overestimated Australian economic growth a little bit, and that they are happy to have more time to assess inflationary pressures, and that it's prudent to use that time. So the whole thing points towards interest rate rises later rather than sooner. One broker who's expecting an August rate rise now doesn't expect one until next February. And of course, we recently this week had that Westpac forecast, which was that interest rates would go down by 1% by the end of next year, and that's now looking more likely rather than less likely.
I see Djinndal Metals has got a raising of $209 million in new equity. How significant is that?
It was to be expected, and the share price has already halved since January I think it was the 21st or so, when they announced that they were going to have cost overruns on their Carrara iron ore project in WA. And since that time, for instance, Fortescue Metals is down 13%. So it's not an iron ore thing. It was a Djinndal Metals thing. And here they are having to find another $600 million on top of the $2.57 billion cost of that project. And they need to find half of it, $300 million. They're doing it with a $209 million capital raising, and the rest coming out of cash. So it was done at 67 cents, share price in the trading halt at 75. I'm guessing it's going to look more like 67 cents when it starts trading again. And
lastly, Foster's has reached a settlement with the tax office.
Yes, look, a tiny bit of detail. Of course, the company's being bid for by Saab Miller. That's the real game, and they've got $179 million more than they expected from the tax office, which affects their ability to frank and might cause a few earnings upgrades. But really, it's not being priced on that at the moment, so largely irrelevant to the Foster's share price. Sounds like a little bit of good news, although people who want franking, it's not good news. A bit irrelevant, I think, at the end of the day, Ticky.
Padley, thanks again for talking to Late Line Business.
My pleasure.